Now, a couple years ago, and I'm going to close with this, I had this dream. And I dreamed that I was in a dark room. It was a very simple dream. But God uses me in the area of dreams and visions. And so when He speaks to me very clearly and concisely, I always know that it's really important. Not just for me, sometimes it's for me, but usually it's also for me to share with others. Sometimes it's about the church, sometimes it's been about the nation. And it's important. Go to the website. We're starting to get the website there. There's a button called Dreams. Go on there. You can read some of the dreams that the Lord's given me over the last 10 or 12 years. Some of them were very prophetic at the moment, man. You can look back now and see, wow. And that's how good God is. All of us have a gift. Mine just happens to be in this department. It's funny, though, even though you have this gift, you don't always know what's going on. I'm like, God, what are you telling me for? Right? Tell Billy Graham. Tell somebody that could do something about it. I don't know what you're calling me for, man. I'm sitting around in Newtown, We're just trying to fill up a theater, But God says, no, I'm calling you because I can use you. I can call you out of the backside of the wilderness just like Moses. I can call the people around you. I can raise up a mighty voice. I can cause one little church to have a great voice in the land. I can call them to do much more than they could ever ask or think. I can cause a group of people who will just trust and believe in me in biblical terms, who will come back and be spiritually educated in this last day. I can use them, and I will use them. That's who we are. God chastised me 2 weeks ago, gave me just a little snippet of a dream, and I'll come back to the other dream. Just a little snippet. Before I woke up, I was in that REM place of sleep. Just before I woke up, I saw Benjamin Arday standing over me and prophesying to me, just like he does in real life so many times. And he said, Rocky, as an apostle, this is what he told me, as an apostle, one that's called, to go and to raise up people, build churches, build whatever it is that God builds with His people. As an apostle, you can fall. I've been listening a lot to, there's a lot of information about how fallen the church condition is today. And I've kind of been swimming in that. And so anyway, maybe I had the dream just because it's revolving around in my mind, but I didn't think so. It's too clear. He said, you've been thinking about all these other things. I want to bring it home to you. Rocky, you can fall. And this was the kicker. He said, if you don't stay filled with the Word. One of the great things about Watchman Nee that I mentioned earlier, man, he was known to be a man of the Word. Everywhere he went, he had his Bible with him. You want to know why he got the revelation he did? He was constantly in the Word. If you saw Watchman Nee at midnight, he likely had his Bible. If you saw him at noon, he likely had his Bible. He was in the Word, in the Word, in the Word, in the Word. Before the communists completely rose to power, he went out and started a business that was one of the major pharmaceutical businesses in his nation, man, so he could take the money and give it into the church that he had started and founded. He blessed people all over the nation, but I tell you what really blessed them was the fact that when the church had to go underground, his people were ready. They didn't have to figure it out. What do we do now? They just went to the houses. They just kept doing what they'd always been doing, man, working for Jesus, talking about Jesus, preaching the gospel, teaching the Word. They just didn't do it the way that they used to do it. They did it the way that it's actually way more effective. And the Lord was speaking to me, and He was stirring me, and I want to stir you. Hey, come on. We can go to great places, or we can fall. We don't need to give ourselves any neutral ground. Let me tell you something. If you're only lightly attached to the local church today, don't think you're going to be attached to Jesus in some kind of special way later. And it doesn't have anything to do with church attendance. It has to do with heart. If nobody can find you because you've decided to be an absentee leader in God's body, don't expect God to find you later. I'm talking to somebody today. And do yourself a favor, man. Don't come to a church like this where a guy like, you're just going to get frustrated. The word Passover means to skip, to hop, to jump, to dance over, and to make exempt, man. And I'm telling you today, too many Christians are skipping, hopping, dancing, jumping, doing something that's not the dance of God. We've upset somebody. Suffer the little children to come to Jesus, man. The baby shouldn't be crying, man. It should be the adults. Where am I? You could fall. Be full of the Word. Get in the Word. I went to church that following Wednesday night, and I got deathly ill just before the church service started. Thank God Wendy had a blowout on the way, so I had a reason to go home. Because, man, I was shaking. I was ill. And in just about a little 1.5 hour window, 2 hour window, as I was shaking, God began to speak to me and download stuff into me and talk to me. And I was texting the gym saying, have the church pray, man. I mean, I was shaking, heaving. Wendy laid her hands on me and she was moving like this. Father, in Jesus' name, heal Rocky. I was like, Wendy, it's going to be okay. But he started dealing with me, and he said, you don't do church like, you stop doing church the way you've been doing church. You stop leading like you've been leading. You listen to what I'm telling you, man, and you get serious. And I'm passing it on to you this morning. Hey, I'll take the heat for the dream, but I'm going to tell you what, get serious for God. You don't have time. All the religious leaders and watchmen these days said the same thing. Oh, man, it's fine. No, you have to be like that. That's extreme. That's radical. You don't do church at home. How stupid. At the end of the day, man, we all remember Watchman Nee. I don't remember any of those other people. Do you? Great thing about Watchman Nee, man, you go to any bookstore and there is books. There they are, man. It's like an archive, like a library. There they are. Where'd they come from? They came from the Bible. They came from a man. And I tell you, God was putting all this stuff. He was saying, you be what I've called you to be, and you do it now. You don't do it later. So, okay, finish with this. Had this dream, M-I-A-P-O-W. That's what I call it. I was in a dark room. How many people remember the dark room? Give me just 5 minutes. I know that usually means 15, but today it's going to mean 5. I'm in a dark room, and I'm looking around, and I see there's only one chair in the room. So for some reason, I take the wallet out of my hip pocket and I lay it there so that as I'm exploring this dark room, I'll remember where my wallet's at. I have a tendency to kind of be forgetful. People know that, you know. I'm confessing better things. Pray for me. I mean, agree with me. Let's do whatever it takes to help me. But, you know, I'm looking for brain enhancement material, you know, to take or whatever I need. But I know, and God was talking to me, you're forgetful. And so I did in my dream, I did what I would do. I said, I'll put that wallet right there, you know, because that's got everything in it that I need. And I'll go explore the room. And I did. I made a lap around the room, and I just saw how dark it was and how, you know, there's nothing there. It's empty. It's a dark place. And I finally came back around to the chair. But as I looked at the chair to find my wallet, I noticed there was no wallet there. Wallet was missing. My earthly life was missing. The summation of everything I need in this earthly life was missing in this dark place. But on that chair was a little pin that an ex-Vietnam vet gave to me years before. And it's just a little pin that said, M-I-A-P-O-W. And at the bottom, I think it said, never forget, or lest we forget. Lest we forget. We've all seen the flag. The black flag with the soldier and everything. And I was startled, and I woke up. That was simple. That was 2007, right at the end of 2007. It was a warning for what was coming to America. It was a warning, though, specifically for where the church is at. I'll tell you, we're in 2012 today. This dream is so much more important now than it was then. Into the next year, what happened is the country began to go into an economic slide. We all remember. A certain guy was elected president, and it only got worse. It's only stayed worse. Seems like we're going to elect the guy for another term for president. It's like we're all so dull. But we're all so smart. But we're going to find out soon that we're not smart enough. That we need Jesus. I'd rather find out sooner than later. God was warning me, man, that it's the transition season that He had actually warned me about back in the year 2000 with some other words from God. He said, that thing's closer now, and there's a lot of people missing in action, and there's a lot of people in the church that are prisoners of war. They're in the battle. They don't realize they're in the battle. They're being overcome. They don't know where they're at. What's happening now is that just dark place is coming, and it came. And I tell you what, I realized upon awakening that dream was talking about my heart. My heart was in the wallet, but my heart needed to be in God. My heart did not need to be in my identity. My heart did not need to be in my receipts. My heart did not need to be in my cash. My heart needed to be in God so that in God I could remember what's important. What's important are the people of God. People are missing today. People are prisoners today, and we are called to go into the dark room and find them. Just a few months after that, I was in Alaska preaching, and I was out fishing on the Kenai River, beautiful glacier river up in Alaska. And I was fishing, and I was having a good time, and we were pulling out these big trout. So we had a fishing guide. I mean, it was a great scene. And I was standing on the bank just thinking, where am I going to cast next? And all of a sudden, I looked upstream to my left, and I saw a piece of paper floating in the water. And I thought, man, how weird. There's trash in the river in Alaska that's so pristine. We're so far out from the city of Anchorage, which is not really a city. I can't believe there's pollution in this water. And it's floating towards me. As it gets a little bit closer, I said, you know, it's green paper floating in that water. My mind started to turn. Green paper. And I got closer. I said, man, that's money in the water. And I'm thinking, what could it be? $1 bill, $5 bill. Am I milking the story enough? I ran up and I got it. I mean, it floated right up to me, man. I cannot tell you where I was at, in the middle of nowhere. A bear, a grizzly could have gotten that thing before me. They were everywhere. I walked up, I reached down, $100 bill floated up to me. And I'm holding the thing going, are you kidding me right now? Man, I am fishing today. I'm catching too. And I tell you what, the Lord used it to speak to me on the heels of that dream that I had had some months before. He said, Rocky, you don't need to worry. I am your provision. Don't you worry about anything. The darkness is coming. The hour is coming. Things are closing in. It's getting hotter and strong and tougher, rather, in America. But God is on your side. I'll tell you what, after that $100 bill dream, and this is how it happens when God talks to you. Sometimes things get worse before they get better. I needed that $100 right after that. Started having people that supported me, people that were behind me. I started having them just drop off like flies. I'm moving. I've already moved over, or on my way moving over to Connecticut, thinking we're going to start a church there. Already planned to do that, and so I'm kind of in between places. Don't know where I'm going. What should I do? Should I go back where I came from? Should I keep following God? I got this little word about Newtown in my heart. Should I follow it out, or should I go some other way? I'll tell you, and that brings us up to where we're at today. Here we are. There's nowhere else to go. Oh yeah, there's a lot of places in the world to go. There's nowhere else to go, and there's no other message to hear. If you want to have an Easter egg hunt after church today, that's fine with me, man. Go for it. But I'm just not into that. It's okay. It's okay. Even the Jews that celebrated the Passover in years to come, they even had a hard-boiled egg, so it's all right, you know. You just got to remember what you're doing. What is the meaning, right? God's hand is on your life. Come on, think deeply today with me. The call is get back into the Word. Let God speak to you. Give God an opportunity to educate you. Why? So that you will be passed over.